I hope you're at least okay. Today is a it's a fucking Tuesday. I don't know why I do that. Sometimes I feel awkward when I do that. I'm like anyways, can you tell I'm working on my hair? I've been toning it again. I've been getting all the red out of my hair. So now I look blonde. No, technically, as I aged, my hair turned auburn instead of red, which is okay, but it's kind of annoying. So I've been putting treatments back in, but if I put heat on my hair, it'll probably get a little brassy, but I'm working on it. There's like a foolproof way to fix it, and it takes time. So, yeah. But now I'm a proper blonde woman. Proper. It's proper, isn't it? Oh, and I also, instead of having my regular, I don't know, I have like an actual soda today. I feel like my background's like, it looks kind of tilted. Hi, George. How are you? There's been lots of things that have happened in the news today. Crazy. Crazy. Wasn't the, wasn't there like an award show? It was either last night or the day before. You doing okay? Okay. Well, I hope you're good. I hope it's a good okay. And not like, okay. You know? That feels a lot better. Oh, I rearranged everything. I have a plant that I might put there, but I realized that the plant that I wanted to put there, the cats will probably eat, so I can't put it there. So now I'm like, shit. Oh, and I also brought the cat cave, and then I moved the kitty scratcher over here, because normally I'm blocking the kitty scratcher a little bit, so progress is being made. And I think in the next couple of weeks I'll get. I should probably be. Well, I think this weekend is the only time I can do it. But I'll try to film it. We worked on my driveway today, and my niece shared. Ooh, wait, what you have to do on your driveway? That's a lot of work, by the way. I know you don't play around. You know you can see her so well. Look at that. That was a good story. Wait for you to tell me. Sometimes I get a little ahead of myself. Filling cracks going to seal coated on Thursday. Oh, that's like a lot of actual shit. Pardon my language, but that's a lot of work. Hi, Ollie and Bixby. Ollie says hi. Can we say hi? Wonk! But that's a really good spot for them because Bixby's the only one who really stays in the little, oh my god, wait, the cave thing I have right here. So I have it there so that if they don't want to climb up the cat tree, they can stay there instead. Which works really well. And I'll probably get another cat scratcher soon. They say hi too. I mean, Bixby doesn't really say hi that much. She just kind of exists. But she says hi in spirit. Bunk. Bunk, 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 bunk. Oh, before I forget, I will be leaving early tomorrow, so I don't know if I can actually do like a lot of cooking stream because I have to. I might do it if I start really early, but I might not be able to. This week is really nuts. Next weekend is going to be crazy. Maybe nothing really is going to happen and I'll have I'm gonna figure that out tomorrow. George said, working on letter for you in response to the letter from last week. Ah, yay! That's cool. I love the letter. It makes me so happy. It's like I look forward to it. So I try to save little things so I can send. Like just things I accumulate throughout. I'm excited. I think you'll like what I'm gonna send you this week. I got a plan. Well, maybe next week. Probably this week or next week. I already have another. I have to go to the post office anyway. Ugh, it's gonna be a lot of work. So, have you seen the news? There's so much shit happening today in my Discord because I usually I don't think you're in my Discord at all, but I'll post like as many of the lives that I can, all the ones that I watch. And today we had a newbie. Name is Bert. Right. Oh no. I don't know if he still is in here. Okay. I guess he is. Yeah, you watched the press conference today? Yeah. It was interesting to say the least. There was the House talked about UFOs. Israel striked like a living quarters in Qatar. Well, technically it was in Doha, Qatar, which is like their capital, which is crazy. And then there's a White House presser, which I forgot to send the link for. Whatever. And then a UN meeting. I was gonna try to give it like on YouTube instead of TikTok. I usually send the TikTok ones because there's no ads for anybody if you're on it, which is really nice, but everyone has like their own thing. Yeah. Ooh. I did. I'm sorry. You can say salute if you want. I'm just so used to people saying salam, and it feels like almost too like not formal, but it's like I don't know. I felt bad. A guitar. Why guitar today? Because Israel struck a Hamas target in Doha. It's crazy. Which Qatar is like really pissed about it. They're like, we didn't authorize the strike, and they're trying to help negotiate peace talks for between Israel and Hamas. And it's just Israel was like, guess what we're gonna do today? Strike them. That's fucked. What does short and sweet mean? Well, I don't have a lot of time today. I do have to. This week is crazy for me. I had like meetings yesterday, work today, meetings tomorrow, lecture tomorrow, which I have to help out with, and then work again, and then I don't know what's happening this weekend, but I'm trying to like make it more chill. But I am gonna film some stuff this weekend because I've been like, I'm going to put stuff on my YouTube channel, and then I just haven't done it. I'm sorry. Oh, busy week. Okay, I see. Nice though, bruh. Real life. I know. I don't know. Stream is cool because I get to like come in and do stuff. I'm not this busy. I'll probably be this busy for a while though. I'm gonna take a break next month. October is like my free time because it's Halloween. Wait, do you celebrate Halloween, Tanner? I think I really like Halloween because I was never allowed to celebrate when I was a kid. So I got really into it when I was older. Oh, I was thinking about joining Discord. Can I upload pictures on there? Yeah, you can, George. I forgot to answer that. Yes, you can. No pressure though. You can also talk to more people there. It's kind of like instant messaging, which is cool. I want to eventually have like movie nights there. I don't know. It'd be fun. Although it might just be like a once a month thing at first. Just until I figure out my schedule more. Because teaching is starting up again. Classes is starting up. Everything's crazy. Tanner says, no, we have a St. Martin's Day. Weish dish. Is it Halloweeny? Let's see. Oh, nope. It's the feast. The German International School in Doha is one of the few places. Oh, fuck. You still had, like, Qatar. Oh, do you guys light up lanterns? I love lanterns. They're, like, one of my favorite things. My goal in life, not even my goal, I'm gonna do this, by the way. I want to go to China or Thailand, because they do it in both places. And sometimes they do it in Japan. But I don't think they do it the same way in Japan anymore. But they have like these lantern festivals, and then you go out and you like ride on them. Sometimes you decorate them, but then you just like let them go. And eventually they stop burning and they fall back down. You know, that part's not as pretty. But yo, I want it so bad. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. It'd be like it'd be really cool. It'd be really cool. But it's November 11th, a Christian feast day and festival honoring St. Martin of Tours. Oh, shoot, I'm sorry. Here is a link. Germanfoods.org, because you know I gotta like see the food shit. And you get sweets? Okay, okay. You knock on doors and sing with a lantern? Whoa! Okay, okay. George says October is my favorite month. Hell yes. Oh yes, it is the best. It is the best. I love it so much. I wish it didn't get as cold here though. I don't like the cold. But if it's gonna be cold, I want it to be pretty cold and not like ugly cold, you know? Like I can tolerate the cold. The cold is fine. Do I like it? No. Because it's ugly here in Nebraska. There's not a lot of like pretty cold. It makes me sad. But okay, do they give you candy? And you get sweets. So Tanner, they give you candy after you knock on the door, right? I wish my grandparents were still alive, because then I would like send them this and I'd be like, see, Halloween is not sadistic. It's based, it has Christian tradition, and you should have let me do it. I was never allowed to participate. It made me so upset. I got to do Halloween stuff once, and I went to my friend's house, and because I didn't have like any money or whatever, I just decided to dress up like a hobo. Which during the I don't know, like early 2010s, that's when people were doing like the kind of like hipster-esque vibes. So I just wore those clothes and I put dirt all over myself. And I had like combat boots. And I was like, okay, how do I make this look like hobo-esque? So then I just put on the ton of layers. So, but my grandma was like, why are you taking so many clothes with you? I was like, Grandma, it's gonna be like a fashion thing. She was like, you're not doing anything for Halloween, are you? And I was like, no, of course not. Meanwhile, my friends and I, like, all being way too old, because I was like 13. I was like 13, 14. And I was in high school. They were like, you have to do it once. And some people were like, you guys are too old for this. And they were like, she's never gotten it before. So then I got extra candy. But I couldn't take it all home because my family couldn't know that I did it. So I was like, so my friends took it to school and then I hid it in my locker. Tanner says, first you sing yes. Some people give you walnuts and oranges. Always hated those. What the fuck? Do you get to dress up? And you have to sing? Is there an age cap for it too? I have so many questions. I'm sorry. Because that's like Halloween here. Although I don't have a lot of experience with Halloween. So, like, I don't. I don't know. No dress up bra, only lantern. Oh, the lantern is a vibe though. I approve of the lantern. Do you like go to everybody's houses? Like, does everybody do it? Or is it just like a certain cities do it? Is that how it is? Yeah. Got my thumb. Halloween gets very popular though, meanwhile it starts taking over, if I'm being really honest. Oh, hell yeah. Hell yeah. I still haven't figured out what I want to do for my Halloween costume. One day, I'm going to dress up a lot. Like, I'm going to have so many different things. But this year, I'm trying to, like, if I'm going to do more than one costume, I want it to, because I have to dress up at least once for my job. We have, like, an event that I have to do. So I have to have one costume that's, like, work appropriate, which is ridiculous, but fuck it, whatever. I guess you gotta do what you gotta do. Uh, how do I say this? So I want to have something where I can at least wear most of it, if not all of it, like later on, like something that I can recycle. But it's kind of hard to plan that out. And like costume stuff is very cheap. I hope you guys get to do both though. Having two holidays where you get candy and you go door to door is really great. I mean, here in America, people are paranoid about kidnappings and stuff, so I don't know. Halloween's kind of dying out in that way, but people still party. Wait, what else has happened? Off topic in a second, though. I'll let you respond if there's anything you want to say. Sometimes I just keep talking and I'm like, oh shit, I gotta wait for you guys. I'm sorry. Carnival is also a thing. Like Brazilian carnival? Carnaval? Oh, talking dress up. Oh! A lively pre-Lenten festival celebrated with costumes, parades, music, and parties. The celebration, often called the fifth season, officially begins November 11th and culminates in the days leading up to Ash Wednesday, particularly on Rose Monday. Key celebrations occur in specific regions such as the Rhineland, Cologne, Mainz, and Dusseldorf. Is it Dusseldorf or Dusseldorf? I think it's Dusseldorf, right? With its carnival in southwest Germany, Swadian Almanik, with its Fashionat traditions which differ in style and focus. The season begins November 11th at 11:11 a.m., known as the fifth season. 11:11. Oh my gosh. That's crazy. Dusseldorf, Cologne and Dusseldorf basically have a carnival rivalry. Okay, okay. Okay, vibes. Here's a link for everybody, too. I feel like we don't really have super cool traditions here in America. It looks like it almost looks like a pride parade, but there's clowns. Make sure you use the right one. You have a laugh or hello. There's carnival societies. What the fuck? Okay, we're looking at this together, chat. I'm so deep in the weeds that we gotta look at it together. There's too many layers now. Okay. I knew that Germans love rules, so it was no surprise to me that with Carnival there is a rule that allows Germans to go wild. Oh god, it's so funny. Olaf would be Cologne. Hello, it's Dusseldorf. Is it Dusseldorf or Dusseldorf? Dusseldorf. Sorry, it's not. I was rude. But do you see what I mean with it being like a pride festival? Like everyone's in like very, very colorful clothing. Ah, clarinet. I used to play the clarinet. Or was it the opposite? I don't know anymore. I think you're right. Dussel is the yes, the last. Dussel. Dussel. And I only said it like that because I'm making fun of you. Ah, I'm sorry. Dussel. Germany, they have the Love Parade, which is also cool and famous. Oh, okay. Wait, hold up. We gotta like look at this. It's just so like accurate. Okay. Wait, German Love Parade. Is it not a thing anymore? The event's popularity ended tragically in 2010 when a stampede in crowded tunnel killed 21 people and injured hundreds in Duisburg. The organizers subsequently canceled all future love parades out of respect for the victims. Oh, America would never. They'd be like, oh, you died. Poor you. And then they just keep going. They'd be like raving on the bodies. I mean, that's what they fucking did at the like, what was the one concert with the Travis Scott concert? Man, 1.5 million ravers in 1999. Holy fucking shit. But it was very popular that I know. Yeah. I mean, holy shit. I would have gone to this if I wasn't like a child. Holy crap. That's crazy. Wait, let me find a good photo. It's like insanity. I mean, holy shit. This is Imager, so look at that. That's a shit ton of people. And that's where the set is, just right there. There's only a couple people like right in front of it. But holy crap. It's insane. It's like the Woodstock of raves. That's what people say. That's crazy. Millions. Like a million plus people showed up. That's insane. Well, I mean, you guys are known for partying. Like, insane amounts, so. That makes sense. What the hell? How would you use the bathroom? In a diaper? Or you do enough, like, drugs that you don't have to go to the bathroom, like, at all? that's how that's how it normally goes. Okay, wait. A very big presence. The Love Parade wasn't a normal festival. It probably wouldn't be able to exist in that form today. I would show you, but it's like Reddit, and then you'll see like my icon. It's like I'm all logged in and stuff. So, sorry. No entry fee or anything, little to no security or police, topless girls everywhere, naked butts too. In the surrounding park, lots of people chilling and doing drugs, having sex, etc. There are basically no rules. But it worked because everybody had good intentions, never experienced any negativity. Of course, it did leave a big mess afterwards, which Berlin wasn't happy about, and that's the main reason it stopped there, I believe. I'm from the Netherlands, and I started going to raves here in Belgium and Germany since 1996. Mysteryland, which was held in the Netherlands, is one of the oldest dance festivals in the world. It started in '94 and is still going on today. Drugs have always had a major presence, yeah, in all like club scenes for sure. Um, and we're just like, it's wild, hell yeah. Let's see. Did I say a bigger presence back then than now? The first Mysteryland started Friday afternoon, continued 2 days straight until Sunday afternoon. Didn't stop at night. Most big raves and festivals back then went on all night, which attracts different crowds than the day festivals. Festivals back then attracted a far more hardcore rave and drug crowd who were used to going to raves and partying crazy hours on a very regular basis. Of course, the Netherlands itself also had a big drug culture, one of the main producers of MDMA. Yeah. Probably partly why our dance scene organizations and DJs have flourished so much from early on. Back then in the 90s, you could even legally test your pills at raves. The more you know. Yeah. That's like actually crazy. I feel like I'd be a little claustrophobic. I would not like that many people. And raves are so political now. Way back when, I feel like they weren't even that political. Even like 15, 10 years ago, they weren't as bad as they are now. Nowadays, it's like there's always some like controversy going on. Look at this. Why will you wear wigs? Why are you wearing wigs? Okay, that's interesting. You Germans are interesting. I feel like you're trying to get me to like move to Germany. I don't think so. I don't think so. I'm sorry. I oh my god. Sometimes I'm sorry, y'all, but I'll like look at chat and then in the corner of my eye I'll see myself and I'll be like, fuck. I look so white today because I'm like making my hair blonder. So now when I catch myself, I'm like, wait, what the fuck? Glad to be able to share something different than the usual stuff today. Yeah, no, I think this is cool. Oh my god, I started streaming, like when I first started streaming, we did mainly talk about people's cultures and everything, which was really, really fun. We just do it for hours. And then sometimes you guys, or at least a couple of you guys, would go and do homework assignments, and then you'd come back and tell me like some history from your city, like taking tours, and that was really fun. I learned a lot about North Africa through that, which was really, really fun. Really, really fun. Alrighty, back to the program because I gotta leave in like an hour. Ugh. Or like an hour and like 15 minutes. But I have a question. What do you know? How do you feel about America right now, Tanner? Like, what is the vibe? Because as of late, I've been having the understanding that people are not very happy with America right now. Bruh! No, but I'm curious about like what the perception of America is right now. And, yeah, I gotta ask. I gotta ask. It's a valid question. It's so valid. I'm allowed to ask valid questions, sir. Mainly because I feel like America is going wild right now, and I just kind of sit here and I'm like, holy shit, What would you like to know specifically? Like, with what's going on with, well, I guess I kind of know Germany's perspective. So, I was kind of hoping that you would just latch on to that and just be like, here's the thing. And then I could be like, But, like, what is the most common discussion about America that you guys have right now? Because currently here in America, it's interesting. It's interesting to say the least. But I know that I know that hmm, like Russia, India, and China are all kind of like more buddy buddy than ever before. I don't know about like Russia and India, but I know India, China is more chill. Obviously, Russia and China and North Korea are all more chill because they're like they had the big um, anniversary of like the military parade that happened a while ago. I think maybe it was like that was like last week or whatever. Yeah, most common topic, a guy named Trump. No, yes, but like how do I say this? Are you guys concerned about being supported by America anymore? Like, do you think that's going to keep happening? Or do you think that America is just not caring anymore? Because Israel is doing shit like willy nilly. They're literally like bombing random countries, which I know that they've done before. Like, I fucking know it, okay? Like, we've been there, done that. They're parts of lots of crazy shit. But literally, like, bombing Qatar with no little to no warning to Qatar, even if they did have like a warning, which from my understanding and what I've seen, they've confirmed that there was like little to no discussion with Israel about them doing that because they were trying to hold a peace accords or like at least like some peace talks or negotiations is the proper words, but they're trying to get that direction. Ugh. And America literally bombed like what was it like a Venezuelan ship in like public waters. Like, does that concern you guys at all? Because that concerns me. Because they shouldn't be backing Israel with all that shit that they're doing. It low key, I'm not gonna lie. IMO. I don't know if you guys asked for my opinion, but you're getting it anyways. You remember how like the Ottoman Empire kind of like really, really struggled up until World War I, and they just decided to like side with Germany because lots of reasons, but it was like mutual interests, and it fucked them over. It kind of feels like that's what America's doing. It's like a dying superpower that's siding with a party that they think is going to help them, but it's really not, and it's just kind of fucking us over. And I feel like it's going to be really fucking bad. Taylor says, yeah, I heard that with Venezuela. What is happening there? I don't know the exact situation. I obviously am not like working in the government, so I don't have all the details like most people who talk about that shit online. Bro, you're jumping from Trump to Venezuela to Automania because to me it's like very similar. Like the fall of that empire isn't obviously like the same, but the circumstances that led to its falling is, from my perspective, there's plenty of parallels with what's happening currently in America. And that's why I'm just like, ooh, this doesn't look good. This looks really bad. This looks like not the vibe. Very similar, yes, of course. Well, yeah, like there's parallels with everything if you're like, well, schizo or creative enough. And luckily, I don't have the schizo stuff, but I am creative. So I don't know. But like this isn't just like a me thing. I feel like other people have been talking about this too. Um, but from my personal perspective, or with the Venezuela situation, from what I understand, okay, I Trump is really mad at Venezuela. Venezuela is basically a middle ground where they're also unparalleled of everything. That's true. That's true. Obviously, it's a different set of circumstances and stuff like that. You know, that's just enough. It's just enough for me to be like, ooh. And the deeper you go into more specifics, oftentimes you have to generalize things a little bit in order to have parallels. But that brings in the question of like, do you want to look at things from a macro lens or do you want to look at things from a micro lens? And which is the best for having an understanding of stuff? And what is the best circumstance to have like a micro or macro lens, you know? But anyways, IMO. So Venezuela, let's look up a map. Let me give you a map. Map, 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 map. Map, 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 map. Do 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 do. Okay. All right. Okay. Show y'all map. No. There we go. I had to like get rid of the sidebar thing. Y'all are gonna be like, yeah, but do it anyways. I want to. There we go. Now you can see. Here is Venezuela. This is Venezuela. This is America. Ta-da! Also, ignore my little like check marks or whatever. Those are like places where I filmed. I put like a little heart thing there so I would remember the locations I filmed in case I had to go back. Anyways, Venezuela is right here. Colombia is here. Now, you know cocaine, right? Cocaine comes from a plant that grows really well in northern South America. You can also grow it here in like Cuba, Haiti, and all in this region. It grows all the way, well, it grows pretty okay, all the way up to like Tennessee up here. This region, hot and like moist-ish works okay. Just has to be hot, right? And Venezuela had a ship that was basically doing shipping routes and stuff like that. America was freaking the fuck out because they were like, oh my god, they're sending drugs from Venezuela. But Venezuela doesn't really do a lot of like drug trafficking for the most part. It's primarily Colombia or other regions and that sort of thing. But they will ship a lot of like goods through this area. So they'll go up to like open waters where they're less likely to get caught over here, and then they'll go up here. Because there's lots of countries here, and bringing a lot of drugs through all these like a jam-packed area of countries is not the best idea, because this is very close. And there's lots of different countries that are patrolling these waters. So it's best to just go this way. You see my cursor? They go this way. And that's why a lot of drugs end up in Florida or the Carolinas and Georgia and that sort of thing. So Trump decided to bomb a fucking fishing boat that he said was drugs, and then he posted some footage of it on True Social, which is basically like his Twitter. George says it was a drug boat. They ordered them to stop. They did it, and now they're sleeping at the bottom of the ocean. But it wasn't confirmed to be a drug boat. Like, it was actually confirmed to be a shipping vessel. And because they bombed the hell out of it and didn't board it in any way, shape, or form, they could not confirm that there are any actual drugs on the boat or on the vessel. So even if there were, they fucked themselves over by just, like, destroying it. That's the thing. So there's, like, no proof of, like, anything actually being there because they didn't go through the proper like processes of it. And because this was international waters, you're not supposed to you're not even supposed to board anyone for the most part on international waters. Like, how do I say this? The US government and any government is only allowed to interfere on international waters if they're afraid of a direct militaristic threat, for the most part. That's like what it is. Or there's like people being smuggled or whatever. Like very strange, like strict conditions. But people like selling drugs and stuff, drugs are not viewed to be like a threat enough to warrant doing that. That's just like my understanding of the law. Like, I would also agree with that. So, when you look at, like, I'm not going to dive really deep into it, but there's lots of layers to it. Like, one, I probably shouldn't dive into that actually. Nope. But yeah, basically, boom, 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 boom. I don't even know where the location was. Let's find it. What was the location of where USA sunk the Venezuelan ship? God, he stresses me out. In the Caribbean Sea. So that was over here. If it was over here, very close to like America. Oh, they switched it to Gulf of America. What the fuck? I hate that shit. But if they did it over here in like the Gulf area, I would understand it if it was over here. I wouldn't appreciate it, but I would be like, okay, I guess you're like super concerned. And instead of like going through the regular process you do with drugs, you're just gonna do that, okay, I guess. Because that's what the Coast Guard does all the time. Whatever. They just like hop onto like random boats and they do their fucking thing. So like if it was coming to America, they could intercept it. Like interceptions for the most part are pretty legal if it's on your waters. And our waters go out pretty far, like here. For the most part. It goes out pretty far. A lot of the Gulf area too. It's pretty much ours. So like it's fucking crazy. It's like literally crazy. So other countries are like, what the fuck are you doing there, America? Like, that doesn't make any sense. That's a really bad idea. You shouldn't be bombing something that's like not even in your waters or close to your actual territory. Like, that's a horrible idea. What the fuck are you doing? And then America supporting Israel through Israel doing its like bombing of basically almost a civilian building and civilian area in a country where they're not at war with. That's fucking crazy to me, IMO, because like, what the fuck? And there's also this fentanyl stuff going on top of that, which makes the whole situation even more complex. Yeah, because IMO, like, people started using fentanyl as a way to cheaply replace, like, cocaine and shit, which is arguably more fucking deadly. Like, it is more deadly. And if you talk to, like, doctors, nurses, or anything else like that, like, people in those professions, how do I say this? They will tell you that they would much prefer to have someone on pure cocaine over fentanyl. And people in America should not be doing any street drugs whatsoever because of the fentanyl thing. The actual, like, demand for cocaine in America is lower than it has been in the past, like, 20 or so years because of the impurities caused by fentanyl, and people are afraid of, like, ODing all the time. So, it's not like they're worried about the wrong drugs. Like, if you want to address the drug crisis, address fentanyl. Or at least, like, put more focus on that. But then Trump would just love another excuse to, like, go to war with like, blue cities and stuff like that, which is crazy. Even though it's very prevalent in a lot of red states, which is why he doesn't talk about it. From my understanding, what I have personally seen, more conservative towns and cities have a higher like opiate issue, fentanyl issue, as well as like freaking heroin, which heroin isn't as popular anymore, or like methamphetamines or whatever. Like, it's just crazy. It's crazy. And George says U.S. water goes out at 12 miles from the coastline. Yeah. So it's not even as far as I was like showing in the cursor. But yeah, it's crazy. Drives me insane. But yeah, I've been I've been pretty worried about it. And the whole drug thing doesn't make sense to me because of that. And arguably, I think it causes more harm than good to try to like bomb other countries for like no fucking reason. And now Venezuela is obviously trying to retaliate in some ways. They're trying to build up their military and that sort of thing because they're like, bro, what the fuck are we gonna do with America? Like, this is crazy. And same with a lot of other surrounding countries. They're just like, it feels like everyone is starting to prep for a war. And I know that obviously not everyone will get involved in a giant war, and it's not going to be like the same type of physical war, but holy shit. Like, Israel fucking. Well, did you hear about what they did to the flotilla? I think that was like yesterday or 2 days ago or something like that. So there's a big flotilla that's going on in the Mediterranean. I think it's like people from about 44 different countries or aid from 44 different countries, and they have lots of vessels and that sort of thing, or something like that. 44, it's either 44 vessels or 44 different countries, or like people from those countries are collaborating to try and help. They started in Italy. I think some people started in Greece or whatever, and then they all met in Tunisia. And then now they're trying to go to uh, Gaza and provide aid and relief and medicine and supplies and stuff like that. And there was a drone that hit the flotilla, and it struck a ton of what do you call it, life jackets and stuff like that. And they're just like, what the fuck, what the fuck, what the fuck. Like, rightfully so, because life jackets are important in case something happens. And it was a drone strike, and there's footage of it. It was like fucking live. And then right after that happened, Trump like around that time Trump did his bullshit, and that it's kind of like no one's talking about it. It's like, I know that it's not very likely that it's coordinated. It's just kind of sad that that's been like covered up in most media and that sort of thing. Obviously, because America will, or a lot of American news outlets will avoid talking about Gaza and the flotilla and stuff like that, especially in a positive manner. We're gonna have to see how that goes. There's that. So everyone's like, what the fuck? And then I don't think anyone in America has had like any comment on that whatsoever. Yeah. And now with the strike on it's fucking crazy. It's fucking crazy. Yeah, there are problems, man. The question is, what can we do? I don't know. I sit here and I think about that a lot. I try to. Are you being like facetious? So like, are you just asking an open-ended question of like what can we do? Or like, are you asking like a genuine question? Because I can't tell, sir. Oh, oh, oh. My eyes are watering. Holy crap. I don't know. I've been thinking about it a lot though. Because like, it kind of drives me crazy how bad things have been getting. And I'm not like to the point where like it interferes with a lot of my normal everyday life. It just kind of motivates me to keep doing more shit, you know? I'm not sarcastic. If you mean that, of course it's genuine. I know, I almost like finished my soda. It's just like a blood orange soda. It's actually, yeah, I really do. I do think that there's lots of stuff that we can do and lots of participation that we can have. And I'm the type of person that when shit goes really hard and like really far south, I try to get involved as much as I can. Like I've always been like that. It's not really in my nature to just like or at least for the most part, like not participate. If I see that there is no outcome where something positive is going to happen, I don't participate though. Like, if it's going to cause harm to me or the people I care about the most or like people as a whole, like if it's, you know, just if it would be better for someone else to take that position than me, then yeah, of course I'll let them do it. But I'm not going to get in the way of them doing it. But if it's someone who's like power tripping and stuff, that's different, obviously. Like, you know, let people get involved, blah, 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 blah. But yeah, IMO, it just motivates me to do more stuff. So I'm just like, oh man, that shit fucking sucks. Well, I do this. I'll participate in this way. I will. I don't know if you want me to like do like a laundry list of like stuff I've done, which I don't think is going to be super helpful now. But there's many ways that you could help your community. You can either organize with your peers or people around you, or, people talk about that stuff all the time. Use your fucking money to participate. Um, Speak out, organize. People think you're crazy when you speak out and go against the norm, but if you're right about it, then you're right about it. And there's, like if people are being hurt and no one else is speaking up, then I'd rather be like I'd rather be at like odds with a lot more people than just be silent and make people happy. Hmm. And that's not saying like be antagonistic or anything like that or treat people like shit, but it's more or less like you can participate. There's always some way to participate, but don't overestimate like what you can do. Like understand that some roles and some positions are not things that you can do. Like I that's something that has been very very helpful for me as like I don't know. The older I've gotten, the more I understood that like yeah, not every position is like meant for me to fill. But the thing is that I have a higher respect for people who are willing to include me and let me learn how to be in that position. And if people don't do that, then I don't respect them and it's not like a healthy organization. Because if you're trying to just be in control of something and not have like people follow through and join and like try to branch out, because if you're a leader, you're going to want to have other people who you can trust who are just as capable of leading as you. And if it's a specialized thing, like a volunteer organization or like a thing like the I don't know, like a group where you can be like a card member or whatever, like the DSA or like a militia group or like, community organization, whatever the fuck you want to do. It's ridiculous to have just one person who knows everything because if they fall, like they leave or maybe they get sick, like a relative gets cancer, or like something happens where they can't be in charge of everything all the time, they need to have someone they can trust that can kind of fill in the cracks when they're not there. And if you're not willing to train people or try to help them through that process and they're eager to learn and they're not trying to like dismantle things from the inside out, like you vetted them, then like hell yeah, you should do that. But if that's something that doesn't happen in an organization or like a group, then you probably shouldn't be there because people always fall eventually. And if they don't have like any initiative to do that, then it's just going to be worse. So that's a that's a really big thing to look for. Like, are the people that you're collaborating with and learning to or looking to learn from actually wanting to teach you, or are they wanting to maintain their position of power? That's like the tricky thing. That's why, like, I mean, this is slightly off topic, but we've been talking about MAGA a lot. But I struggle to see MAGA staying together after Trump passes away or like after something happens that forces him to no longer be in the position that he's been in. Sorry guys, I'm kind of tired. And that's primarily because he hasn't like trained a successor. Like anyone who he views that could be comparable to him, he acts as though they're a threat and then he dismantles them the minute that they start opposing him in any way, shape, or form. Which is, in my opinion, a sign of like a weak leader. Because if you want an organization to go on past you and past your existence, then you have to like set that up. And you have to be willing to train people and mentor and that sort of thing and allow for them to try and like come against you because that's how a lot of people learn. And if they are worthy enough to like come against you and they override you and overpower you, then it's no longer your time. That's just how it is. But a lot of really weak leaders, when they view someone to be like comparable to who they are, they just kind of like always like shoot them down, which is kind of stupid. It's just it's weak. And that's how you know it's not going to last long. You know, any organization that's like that. Like this is going to be kind of like touchy, but like the Black Lives Matter movement that we had here in America, the organizational leaders were very greedy and they were not willing to train successors. So then when the lady who was, or some of the people who were in charge were basically like called out for pocketing funds or doing yada yada yada, they the organization basically fell into chaos because the people who they were looking towards didn't train any successors. George says, you don't think Vance Rubio will take over after Trump? I mean, people said the same thing about, like, Pence. And then Pence literally was thrown under the bus during January 6th. And then after that, never mentioned again. Just dragged through the mud forever. And Vance has not taken as many, like, public opinions or public positions as Pence did. Like, if you look at both of the administrations that they had, yeah. And Tanner says not hearing much about that movement anymore. Yeah, absolutely. Or am I wrong? No, it's not as popular, and that's because of exactly what I described. Many perfectionist. Hi. That's just how it is. If you get involved in enough organizations and like participate enough, you'll see the cracks. And it's the same with like social groups. Like I don't hang out with people who are in positions of power or respect people who are in positions of power if they don't actively want to prime a successor that can be better than them. Because that means that they don't care about the movement, they care about the power that they're in. And you can see this in like relationship dynamics, family dynamics, and stuff too. This is not just like a workplace or whatever. George says Pence was not a good vice president. I would argue, like, I don't like Pence's policies or anything Pence did, but Pence pretty much maintained a lot of his perspectives and didn't really change a lot of things to make Trump happy. But Vance did. Same with Rubio. George said I didn't care that much for him. But did you not care for him before or after January 6th? Did you have a harsh opinion about him before January 6th happened? Or were you just kind of neutral? Like, what swayed you to not care about him? Like, what was that point in time where you're like, oh, I don't like him? I wouldn't say always, because most people are at least neutral about people, especially if they're friends with the people that they like, up until a specific thing happens. So, did Trump's falling out with Pence cause you to not like him, or what? I'm not trying to be an ass, just trying to, like, understand, you know? Maney says, thoughts on U.S.-India relations? In what way? Because it's complicated. There's, like, many things. It's something that personally, I have done a bit of research on, but mainly to the extent of like for my like perspective, I worked in tech for a while, and a lot of tech stuff was being outsourced to India. And I do understand that like Trump doesn't necessarily like India right now because of like, you know, them getting a lot of like oil and stuff and natural gas from Russia, and they're not really happy about that, and they're adding extra tariffs to India or whatever. But for the most part, a lot of it has not affected as much, you know. Cat spotted. Yeah, this is Siri. He's a good boy. Boop, 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 boop. George says from the beginning of their term, I don't think he ever did anything worth talking about. But he was more outspoken than Vance has like really been, honestly. Or at least I feel like he was more in the media cycle than Vance has been. What a jump by Siri. I know, he's such a good boy. He's a cutie patootie. Oh no, does that answer your question, Maine? Maybe not. That's kind of just like a generalization about what's been going on. Obviously, it's more complicated than that, but from my understanding, there's gonna be some stuff that's gonna like go down in the next couple months, IMO. Yep, thanks for the thoughts. I mean, there's lots more, but like, yeah, that's kind of what I got for you. Apologies. Most of the time, I only do a deep dive on like India once every 2 or so years. I try to like maintain and then build up a little bit more of my knowledge. And I will do that for like a couple months, and then or it's usually like a month and a half, and then I'll move on to a different country. Unless there's something happening there specifically. Perfectly valid. You're making me feel bad, bruh. I feel like you're either from India and you're just like, yeah, like she just doesn't care. No, I do care. It's just I know India is like progressing in some ways right now. Honestly, a lot of ways. And it's making America feel upset and intimidated, especially when it comes to technology. Well, not just technology, but like education. I feel like they take education way more seriously in India. That's like I have to say, like a pro, you know. America could never. Our education system shit right now. That's kind of what I got for you. Sorry. Sorry. I don't even know why I'm saying sorry. Didn't India unfairly profit? They had inequitable tariffs. Are you a conservative? Oh my god. Wait. E. Tanner says, random fact I didn't know, India has a higher population than China. Didn't know that. Oh, yeah, for sure. For sure. India is like, honestly, they had an overpopulation issue for a while. If China didn't have like the 1 or 2 child policy or whatever thing they had for a long time, because I know it started off as a 1 child policy, then it went to like 2 child policy, and now they uplifted the restrictions. China was on track to have more than India, or at least be on like the same level, but because of those policies, it's like that's what I believe is correct. Yeah, let's see. Let's Google it. Would China have a similar population to India? They didn't. Child. China's population was around 900 million in 1979 and is around 1.4 billion now. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, no, it's true. Yeah. I was right. I learned about that in my stats class. Which was a very, now that I think about it, a very controversial thing to do in stats, but whatever. But we were supposed to do a project on how it like applies to real life or whatever, and my friend did that one. Bain says, they know that they can't hurt Russia and help stop the war, and yet the argument is whataboutism. What do you mean whataboutism? Like, honestly, the tariffs with America and other countries not being equal makes a lot of sense because we don't manufacture a lot of like profitable goods here anymore. So what would they really take? Like our software and our technology is our main advantage, but we're also losing a lot of that. They say that other countries do it, so we shall do it too. Who's they? Who's they? I'm curious. I wanna know. Oh, India. Yeah. India says that other countries do it, so we shall do it too. Well, it's not even about that. The Brahmin comment was spot on too. Yeah, there's just a lot of layers to it. Honestly, just like a lot of layers. And India is really complicated, especially like when it comes to hmm, hmm, yeah. What happened to Doha? Everybody's asking so many questions now. Damn. If I come to America, would you buy us a hamburger? I don't even like burgers that much, just so you know. I'm just kidding. I'm tired. It's okay. Mr. Meow says, "What happened to Doha? Israel fucking bombed them. Bombed like a civilian area, trying to get Hamas supposedly. But then supposedly everyone that was there from Hamas was fine, so it was kind of not worth it, and makes them look like shit. I mean, they already look like shit though. So Maine says complicated or a right wing fascist hardliner life plays. Whoa, whoa. Whoa, I think India is more complicated because regions have more of an importance than people necessarily like take into accord. Because northern India is very different than southern India when it comes to like how things are kind of like treated. The more north you go, I view it to be not necessarily more left leaning, but have the caste system not have as much importance. IMO, and I could be wrong about that, but I know one region is more focused on that than the other for lots of other things. Uh, but yeah, I think India. I've talked about this before when the India Pakistani thing was happening with like Tajmir or whatever. I think that was like months ago. But India did have a lot of right wing policies that caused them a lot of issues for a long time. Like trying to get rid of people from certain religions and stuff like that who are not Hindu and all that uh all that stuff. They tend to reject social evils comparatively. Yeah, like the North, yeah. I know more about religious history in India than I do. Oh, the South does. Yeah, I knew like one was different. I don't know as much about that. I know more about the religious history. And I know that things have like flip flopped multiple times, like socially, depending on the region, but and like the time period. It's just something that I need to educate myself more about. So it's more like I don't know. Tanner says, "Man, how do you know all this respect?" Me? Um, I like studying in my spare time. And usually, when I'm just doing stuff, I don't really listen to a lot of music all the time. Sometimes I do if I want to like do idle stuff or whatever, but I usually well, I had to do a lot of religious studies growing up, and yeah, a greater respect. Okay. But yeah. I had to do lots of, you really do, that's obvious. Oh, actually, I feel like I don't know enough, especially when it comes to like Indian history. I know more about the religious history and the background of like the different gods and the deities and stuff. But when you learn about that, you also learn a lot about, you know, a lot of the political things that have happened, which is why I'm saying like more current stuff. I'm a little bit like, ugh. The That's what I've been trying to get better with. Like, I did do a lot of studying when it came to like architectural stuff, because of my job. I historic buildings and stuff like that. I have to do more early 1900s kind of history, like Victorian era stuff. Um, so I learned a lot about India in that time period, but most stuff between like the 80s and like I want to say like early 2000s, that's where I'm really rough on India's history because there's a lot of stuff that happened in a short amount of time and I can't keep up with it super easily. But every couple of years when I go back on it, I do a deeper dive and I learn more. Manny says that's the time when right wing's ideas developed, inspired by Mussolini. Yeah, that's what. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that goes into a lot of everything, you know. And India has had like a very, in my opinion, not trying to like start shit, but from what I've understood as like a Westerner, India has been more conservative when it comes to like like class and like social values, if that makes sense. But also the way that Westerners see the caste system is also not how it's been applied historically. So it's really complicated. I want to go to India and I want to learn more about how it actually is there when you visit and stuff, but it's not something I have the history that I'd like to have in it. I cry. One day. God willing. Minnie says they're sympathetic to colonial powers and the blood runs in the current ruling dispensation. Yeah, that is true. Yeah, and because they were sympathetic to the colonial powers, they decided to divide into Pakistan and India. And then for a while, India and the Pakistani region did have like Muslim and Hindu like leadership. Things were more conjoined, but then the colonialization and the ruling powers started like promoting like Hindu uh like nationalism, you know, like having like one nation be like one religion, and that forced a lot of the Muslims to Pakistan and yada yada yada, and that like lingering kind of because the country itself was built off of like a little bit of religious nationalism, which people this is where people can get like really like girl what the fuck with me on, but it's true. Um but IMO, because it's built off of like a lot of religious nationalism, that's why it kind of goes back to that. And you can see some of those parallels with what's happening in America and why they're trying to make things more like religiously nationalistic here, because it's a very good way to making more of a uniculture, which is kind of what like India was doing for a little bit too. Anyways, Manny says don't come here, it ain't that safe. Yeah, it depends. I almost went there for my job. I had to renew my passport, so I didn't get to in time. I was supposed to go to the Philippines, India, and then Ireland to train people. But then I quit. I quit for other reasons, mainly because like I had to take time off to do family things. Um, Mr. Meow says, I have many Indian coworkers. They seem to be mostly from the top two tiers of the caste system. I don't know. I wouldn't know how to be able to tell that apart. Manny says we're not all the same. We try to make things better. That's all I'd say. Yeah, exactly. Exactly, yeah. There's a there's a lot of stuff that like goes into that sort of thing. And it's something where though I want to learn more about it, I would need to dedicate a lot more time into those studies. And right now I'm doing the research I'm doing is not, it's very Asian focused, like West Asian and East Asian, but like Central Asian, like India, there's so much. There's just so much. Mr. Meow says India is fine, give it time. Well, yeah, I'd say it'll be like, okay. Thanks for the thoughts. Gotta turn in though, it's late here. Cheers, bye. Yeah, India, India is really interesting to me. Bro, that was Germany, Venezuela, Middle East, Trump, and India in like 30-minute crash course. Not gonna lie, I'm a little, yeah, I know. I can keep going though. This is what my shoes used to be like, but I used to like, yeah, tired. Me too, bro. Me too. Ugh. I kind of like hip hopping, like back and forth though. It's really fun. It makes my brain work harder. I also have homework after this too. Guess what my homework is? Lost. Oh, I've been taking classes about that. Can we just talk about bean soup? No, bitch. I can give you a break though while I go pee. Are you chill with that? I'll just wait for the ad and then I'll do that. I'll go take a piss. Yeah. I have some fucking classes that I gotta take that's all about this. So, not necessarily all about it, but yeah. Did you just call me bitch? Maybe. I don't remember. Maybe. Thanks, you're welcome. Don't call it's not an insult though. I am a if I called you a bitch and I meant it as like I hate you, I would be more creative. I think bitch is too nice, you know? Mr. Meow says I missed a lot. Yeah, well we've been bouncing back and forth. I have a video on like the history of Qatar that we were gonna watch, but I kind of talked a little bit about it, so I don't know. I don't know. Oh my god, I have more than I thought. Okay, I'm gonna remember that if you come over. What do you mean? What are you implying? To America? You haven't gone. Maney comes in, asks me about India, leaves. Not even a follow. What a whore. What a lemon sucking whore. There's still a lot I gotta learn about it, honestly. JK, never mind. Yeah. Yeah, say never mind. But yeah, I won't. I can't swim. Mr. Meow says, wait, so I can't call the fascist dictator Pinochet the less offensive B word, but you get to call your viewers the worst one? Automod can't censor me. I am the creator. I am in charge here. I am the captain. So you cannot censor me. Yeah, I know, but it's there's quite a few there's a lot of like stuff that happened. I don't even know. God mode. Bruh, it's like XQC or Hassan with their chats. Yo. Although I get why they're so strict with their chatters now. Other chatters too. Or not chatters, but other stream chats too. Jesus fucking Christ. Can you tell I'm tired too? I got like 2 hours of homework left to do tonight as well. It's okay. I'm like mainly free. I just have a couple appointments tomorrow. But yeah, no. There's a lot of there's a lot of weird shit that happens in chats, and I'm just like, yo, if I didn't have auto mod, I'd be really stressed out. I did have like an actual mod for a while, which was really nice. Tanner says, shit, it's 1 a.m. Got to go, man. Okay, bye. Bye bye. Jozanovsky, take it easy. Will do. Rest well. Boop. Boop, 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 boop. Sleep well, stay safe, and stay alive. Or I should say, salam. You always say it to me, so I gotta say it. Why don't you get Andrew to mod? Because Andrew hates the fact that I stream. He thinks it's so stupid. He's just like, why the fuck do you do this? The only benefit that he sees to me streaming is that instead of me talking to him about like history and current events all the time, I talk to you guys instead. Which honestly is probably best that I do it online because it's a really good outlet. Because otherwise, people in my everyday life are like, girl, shut the fuck up. And then I argue with people. But I feel like I'm not arguing. I feel like we're having constructive discussions, and they're just like, bitch, what the fuck? And I'm like, guys, it's okay. And they're like, no, be nicer. And I'm like, okay, later, I guess. But yeah, no, he doesn't really like that I'm on, or that they do mod things. I do lots of I do lots of shit. It's kind of crazy. I don't know how I coordinate this anymore, actually. That's why I'm so tired. It's easy for you guys to like get me into like a conversation I wouldn't normally want to be in because I'm like, fuck. I'm too tired to like be like, no wait, we gotta focus on this. It'll be better in a few minutes. Once like this month is over. Also, I really do have to take a piss and get a snack. Because there's an ad now. So, look at my cat sleeping. I'll be back. Why? Why did you do a stray command? Oh, I forgot to like launch the bot. I'm refreshing it. I forgot. No, I didn't forget. There's so much stuff I gotta do to it. Just like my emotes. Y'all, if life could just slow down a little bit, which it will in like a month. I just gotta put it down in my notes. Oh yeah, I did complete the game. It was really fun. Now we're playing Hollow Knight. Hmm. It's sour. Hmm. What about it? I did cry at the end. That makes you feel better. Written in my planner, so I won't forget. I do. I'm a softie, George. I do get really soft. I really easily. It's so stupid. God, I love candy. You made me choke, Mr. Meows. Me too. Wait, did you did you start hanging out with us because of that game, or was it inside? Hmm. Mm-hmm. It was inside. I think tomorrow I might play a bit of Hollow Knight. I won't have enough time to cook. I don't even know if I'll stream that long. Maybe I'll just talk instead. I just want to play it so bad. It's so good. I want to finish my candy. It's so good. I see why everyone loves it so much. Hmm. I think I have a video that we could watch really quick. Oh, it's the NFL cook-off or kickoff weekend or whatever. Yeah. Nah, we decided not to. I did a synopsis. I'll post the we'll watch it on like Thursday maybe. Ugh. You can tell I'm like cooked today. I'm like not like cooked as in like high or anything. I'm just like screwed. I'm so tired. I was like, I have everything planned out today. We're gonna talk about Qatar. I was doing like a whole refresher on the politics of it today in between the press briefings, and I was like, I heard that crack. I know it felt really good. It felt really good. My back's been like sore ever since I started working out again. My body's like, you know, Hmm. I hate this lighter. It doesn't work. I use it for my candles. Do you see how it like barely lights? It's always like so dim. And then it goes out immediately. Even if I don't have the fan on, it just doesn't really work. It's like a dual chamber too. You see how it's like it's kind of fun to fidget with. So sometimes when I'm like studying and stuff, I'll just play around with it. You see how it's at like two different levels? It's so stupid. This is what I do, chat. Did I fry your brain already with the politics and everything? It's just kind of fun though. It feels like a puzzle, you know? That's why I like it. It's just like a puzzle. How do you solve the puzzle? Yeah. Oh, that sometimes I try to make it as even as possible. That was really close. Oh, this one's really close too. It's like, oh, this one's like almost perfect. Do you see that? Fuck yeah. I'm gonna leave it be. Oh, that's so perfect. Big news at the press conference today was the murder of the girl in North Carolina. That's true. The girl on the bus or train or whatever. Yeah, train. She was a What happened there? Oh god. Long story short, there was this dude. He was a black man, right? And it becomes relevant as time goes on. I'm not trying to be like a racist bitch. He had a lot of issues, mental health problems. He was diagnosed with like either schizoid personality disorder or schizophrenia, right? He had a lot of problems, ended up living with his family a couple of years back. His family had to kick him out because he was being violent and very aggressive. And most people with mental health issues aren't usually super violent and aggressive, just so you know, but he was having problems, and he was. And in his like manic episodes, he was just doing things like calling police, telling the police that people were there that weren't there, and like he was accused of having like false calls to the police, getting in trouble with that, blah 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 blah. And there were multiple instances where he was proven to be a threat to not only himself but other people, but because of the limitations of the system, aka not having enough money to have proper care for him or treatment facility for him or whatever, there's no real place to really take him, so they kind of let him be. He did go to court, I think, in the past once or twice, but I don't remember all the details of that, just so you know. That's just a synopsis. So he has a long history of mental health issues. And he was sitting on a bus, and there's a Ukrainian refugee or immigrant who came to America. I don't know her circumstances of being here, but she came here because of the war, to my knowledge. And when she was like getting onto the train, she sat right in front of him and she was on her phone. He pulls out a pocket knife and then just starts like stabbing her. He was arrested 14 times before. Yeah. He was arrested quite a bit for lots of different things like that, but they never kept him because they didn't have a facility or like enough cause or whatever they needed to like keep him in a facility. Because when you don't have enough government funding going towards mental health care facilities, only the worst of the worst actually get granted to be confined to those facilities and get help in that way. So he stabbed her a lot. She started having lots of problems. People were just kind of like, yo, what the fuck is going on here? I believe there was kind of like a citizen's arrest situation that happened where they stopped him or he just like left. I don't really know what happened afterwards, but eventually, obviously, there was camera footage and he got caught. But it was pretty bad. I don't think people actually intervened. I think he just got off. Yeah, that's what happened. Let me find an article. Hmm. People say more cops are necessary, but it's mainly more mental health care is necessary. Mr. Mouse says, okay, don't get me started on stuff like this. It's become far too common now. What do you mean? Yeah, they didn't even talk to each other. Yeah, I don't know how he was like detained or how they figured out yeah. Oh, Mr. Meow says that they went to college next to a psychiatric hospital. It's not pretty. Yeah, it can be a lot of different things, honestly. Like people who get violent like that, this is just my personal perspective. If you already have a violent personality or violent tendencies, if you do end up having like a manic episode, you're more likely to be violent. If that's not really your tendencies at all, then you're probably in a manic episode or whatever, you're not going to be like that, or a depressive episode. In a manic episode, for those who are not fully aware, it's not just like high highs. Most people think of it as that way. It's like when you're very out of tune with reality with a lot of high highs. Sometimes you can have episodes of like psychosis, which that is different. But from my understanding, he was having a mixture of both, right? Like where he would struggle with like both. I don't know all the details. There's a lot of stuff that goes into it. I personally have never experienced like mania or like psychosis. So I don't know the details of it. I don't know what that's like. I don't understand it. Um it's just something that's so like out of my wheelhouse in that way. I've known people who have had those disorders and I had to be like, around people who have had those problems like growing up and stuff. But it's just not something that like I can be like, oh, it's like this and you feel like this or whatever, because I just don't know. I just don't know that. So it's not pretty though. When people get to the because of like how in America there's not enough funding for people who do have those problems to actually have healthy facilities and stuff for when they're in like not the worst space, but not a good space. Things have to get really bad before they get government assistance. Let's see. Mr. Meow says people who can't take care of themselves or are violent should not be drugged up and released, especially when they have to go to the hospital on their own voluntarily if they feel like it. Uh George says, or not George, sorry. Mr. Meow says that many of them would waltz onto our campus and start doing crazy stuff, yeah. Different states have different regulations. Some of them do treat mental health care kind of like a parole thing, where you have to show up, especially if you were incriminated for something in the past and your mental health was like a reason for it. You would have to show up for like not like a hearing or whatever with a parole officer, but with a mental health facility every certain amount of like days or whatever. Usually it's a court ordered thing. So the judge would have to rule that, but sometimes it comes like afterwards. There's other things that can cause that to be part of the decision later on. So it really does depend on the state. Gosh, this is so sour. Hmm. Mr. Mouse says, in my honest opinion, these are all uniquely American issues. Yeah. Because America, unlike China or, most of Europe or even like lots of like, even Israel has fucking healthcare for everybody who is like a citizen or whatever. I know it's complicated. Don't bite me. Woo! Sour. But yeah. Most countries have way better mental health care. We're using the term healthcare very loosely. Yeah, here in America for sure. But America is more than happy to help out other countries have that type of healthcare, but not ourselves. And Trump was like, "Oh, we're gonna take back our when immediately when he went into office, he was like, we're not gonna be giving our funds to like these countries to work on blah 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 anymore." But then instead of like taking those funds and reinvesting it back into America, he was just like, "No, we're just cutting costs and saving America money," which is just like, whatever. Mr. Meow says, "From what I've heard, it was never like this in the past." It was. It was actually. I can tell you personal stories of me walking around the city. This is why I don't go there anymore. Yeah. Wait, what city? What do you mean? Yeah. Oh, it was? Yeah, for sure. Mental health has always been a problem here in America. Like, it has always been a problem. But a lot of people who have had mental health problems like that in the past had more social support systems. Um, well, if we go back, we talked about this a long time ago, but when America was first founded, uh, or even before America was first founded, even when we were colonies and stuff like that, if someone had mental health issues, it was the community's responsibility to care for that person. So, like, if someone had issues where they were like mentally unwell, they just couldn't take care of themselves and stuff, the community that they were from would have to provide for them. And they wouldn't be allowed to move to a different city, or there would be a long couple of like steps process in order for them to move to a different city or state or a different location as a whole. State is very loose because colonies. Um, so because of that, they would just kind of like stay in their area and people would take care of them. Now, a lot of mental health issues were not recognized unless it was to the point where people were so disabled that they could not function like in society without obvious impairments. So someone who had OCD or was very had issues with compulsions as someone like with OCD does, it would be like fucking they'd just be considered like schizophrenic. Like most of the time they would just say like schizophrenic for anything if it made it so you couldn't function. And they would lock people up and then they'd be stuck in homes until they died. That started happening in the late Victorian era with like insane asylums. So you'll see a lot about that in like the early 1900s, late 1800s, where people were just jailed basically for having mental health issues. There were lots of experiments that were done with people up until honestly like the 2000s ish. That's when people had less like experimental care and there was more of a rule book for people to follow, and that came with like the DSM-5 and the standards that changed there. But even the 2010s, like even where we are now, people with mental health issues are not treated fairly by our society. Mr. Meow says, "I never remember these issues when I first came to this country. It was just probably not as apparent." I think it's more apparent now because people don't have, like here in Nebraska, for example, mental health care has gone to shit, like absolute to shit. Because like I have relatives and stuff who have like severe mental health issues. My siblings were disabled when I was growing up too, my younger siblings. So I am very familiar with the system and like the checks and balances that they have for people at the youth level versus like the adult level, right? And when my relative would have like episodes or whatever, or even my relatives with addiction issues, as time went on, past like the early 2000s, there were less and less and less places for them to go. You're not talking about mental health issues. Are you talking about incarceration? Or like drug issues? Like, what are you talking about? Or like healthcare. But people get violent when they don't have a place to take care of them because they get angry at the world. They get to see everyone else around them like living life to seemingly the fullest, and then they're stuck with nothing. And then they build like a resentment because they're not being treated like citizens at all. Like when you don't have, yeah, like I completely empathize with that. I've never been in that position, but I get it. Like if you don't have uh anything like backing you up, you're kind of fucked socially, and people will just pretend you don't exist. Hi, Beef. You want to say hi to chat? Oh, look at Siri. You see him?
Oh, big yawn.
I know. He's been so cute. Hey, we're both in blue. I'm blue. Is it?
Is.
Is it?
It is. It's 7 o'clock.
Okay. George says hi.
Hi, George.
Andrew says bye too. Mr. Meow says, I'm talking about violent individuals being classified as mentally ill, and that's being used as an excuse to ignore their violence and not held accountable. You can hold people accountable for their violent tendencies. A lot of people who do have mental health issues, which I have seen personally, like, I have dated people who have been, I'm not going to dive, I feel like it's important to state, but like I've been in a personal relationship, like intimate relationship with someone who had mental health issues, and because of that, they use that as an excuse for their violent tendencies, and they were enabled by the people around them. And it got to a certain extent where I had to leave, and I had to leave the city, and it was during COVID, and that's partially why Andrew and I started like living together, because it was so dangerous. Like I couldn't live by myself anymore because of how much it just kept escalating and escalating. Like it's not just the incarceration system or the judicial system or even like the mental health system. It's a social thing too, where people and peers and family members refuse to hold the people who have those problems accountable for what they do, and then instead they try to like slander and destroy the person's life of who's being like, hey, like they did this horrible thing to me, and then eventually it gets so bad that they can't argue with it anymore. And you just gotta run away. Like you just can't, because if you stay in those positions, it could kill you. Like I'm not even joking. I've known women who have like almost been offed by their partners who had enabling relatives and stuff like that. Because if you have no one backing you up and people are constantly invalidating your experience, even if you have evidence and stuff, it's just not enough. And you can't go to court unless you have that, like, unless you have people backing you up, even if you have evidence, because it costs a lot of money. And I'm not saying that you won't win. I'm saying you need emotional support. If you don't have that emotional support, you're kind of fucked, you know? Because it'll just mess you up. And Mr. Meow says I have stories like that too. Yeah, it's rough. It's rough. I'm very lucky that I've been able to get out of those scenarios and stuff. But it took me like years to even be comfortable like going out and doing stuff again. And people are like, oh, you're being dramatic. And then I like show them and they're like, holy fuck. And I'm like, yeah. Mr. Meow says, I hope you get to travel a lot so you develop a solid point of reference. I do have to go soon, but I've been to almost every state in the United States. I have in the continental US. I'm missing like some parts of northern America, so like I haven't been to Wisconsin, or at least if I have, it's been very short, and parts of the East Coast. But everything else, I think there's like 13 states that I haven't been to, and that's it. And I lived in my van, so I travel a lot. Or other countries, yeah, I will. God willing or whatever. But yeah, I'll travel a lot more. It'll just take time. I'm working on it. I'm working on it. Anyways, I do have to go. I do. So, hi, Ollie. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. Do you see him? I mentioned his butt, so he's extra happy. But yeah, thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. And tomorrow's gonna be a shorter stream. I haven't decided if I'm gonna like just make like a PB&J or something and call that a day. I feel like that's kind of cheating, so I don't want to do that. But we'll figure something out. It's either that or I'm gonna talk or I'm gonna play Hollow Knight. So hope you guys sleep well, stay safe, stay alive, and